Hello. All right. So, my name is Addison, and I decided I need to try to trick myself into believing that I'm being productive, doing something. So, I decided I would try to do the video casts or YouTube or whatever. And I guess I would talk about the one thing that I kind of do regularly, semi-passionate about, which is comic books. And deciding to, for at this point in time anyway, at least trying to choose one issue that I read each week, and or at least discussing the things that I did buy, whether they're new releases or older releases, whatever, from the comic book shop on Wednesdays, so which is when I usually go. And so specifically this last Wednesday, I bought Gotham by Midnight Annual. This is like the one DC series that I'm reading. I've been reading regularly, because I've been a huge DC fan since I started reading comic books. But since the new 52 launch, like way back, I want to say after Flashpoint, just killed it for me. Both of the Marvel and DC, everything they're doing with the events and all that whole jazz. I know I'm not the only one that's kind of not digging what's going on there. That's why I think a big part of why Image is obviously becoming a bigger player, and even Dark Horse and all that too. But yes. But to discuss Gotham by Midnight Annual, I decided that it would also be good to kind of discuss Gotham by Midnight in general, because I don't know anyone else that is like reviewing it. I haven't looked very hard because I tend to read things, not listen to reviews as much. I have a couple review shows that I listen to, but so on. I think Gotham by Midnight is a supernatural crime, sort of procedural kind of deal. Takes place with, starring mainly, kind of like central character that people are familiar with would be Jim Corrigan, who is currently, I don't want to say possessed. I'm not sure what the terms and conditions of the whole Spectre thing, which if you've familiar with DC, you probably fairly familiar with the Spectre, depending on I don't know. He's been around. People know of him. He's a big name. But obviously, anyway. So Gotham by Midnight follows Jim Corrigan, who motherfucker, battery. Gonna pause this 1 second. Time out. And we're back. Sorry. Funny thing, I'm using my phone to record this. Battery was dying, so I had to try to find a way to plug it in, figure that out. And keep looking at myself. I feel like I should look at the camera, shouldn't I? I tried to record on my laptop originally, but really shitty camera, just upgraded to Windows 10. Nothing really to the camera, the microphone doesn't, or I'm just an idiot, I don't know how to work the software, which is totally plausible. So I'm just going to record my phone because it's a way better camera anyway, and such. So going forth. Sorry, I'm going to start over. I'm going to repeat myself so many times. Jim Corrigan leads up Precinct 13 of the GCPD in Gotham City, also called the Midnight Shift, and they're responsible for handling supernatural events. You would imagine like demons, werewolves, sort of thing like that. This just started up. That might have existed before. I'm not aware of it though. Could totally be wrong. But yeah, Corrigan leads Precinct 13 with a group of other hooligans, and what I guess you could consider, like, I don't know, weird people. There's a nun, undesirables. Kind of weird, but they're the oddballs of the GCPD, I guess. Obviously they do supernatural stuff. And issue 1, the entire series so far has been written by Ray Fox, and I didn't know this initially when I bought it, and I'm glad I didn't, because I probably wouldn't have, and I'm really glad that I did anyway. But Ray Fox did the Constantine, which I wish I had a hard issue of. I think I bought them all digitally though. The Constantine reboot, when they first brought him back over to DC from Vertigo, and it was bad. It was bad. I did not enjoy it at all. But John Constantine is a character that's like pretty near and dear to me. Love him a lot. So it's not surprising that I didn't care for what they were doing with it and such. Especially at the time when I had read the original, like, probably the first 70 issues of Hellblazer was about as far as I had gone, and it was very, like, metaphorical and political and sort of stuff, and very subtle sort of like magicness going on there. So it was very different from what they were doing. Anyway, Sidetrack. Initially, the story starts off with Precinct 13 getting investigated by Internal Affairs, a man by the name of Weaver. Could be a lieutenant. Blah, blah, blah. Lieutenant Weaver, yeah. From Internal Affairs, which is, so, outside character coming into Precinct 13, obviously allowing the readers to kind of use him as a wedge to break into this world that Fox is creating there, which is cool. It's a good way. I thought it was a nice way to go about, like, entering us into the story in the world that he's building. Then, secondly, the art. First off, Ben Temple-Smith is awesome. Always been awesome. So definitely other stuff he's done. He can always just great artwork. Gritty, sketchy. Yeah, reminds me of like Ronald Dahl, kind of. I don't know. Let me see. One day I'll be like really cool and I'll like edit stuff in, but where's something nifty? But anyway, so it brings you into this world, and they have to bring in Internal Affairs because Jim Gordon is gone, who set up Precinct 13, and I guess, I don't know what's going on in this DC world at this time. Precinct 13 has allocated a certain amount of budget, never making any actual arrest or anything because it's supernaturally, and you don't arrest ghosts and all that. Moving forward, Ben Temple-Smith then did I believe it was the first 6 issues, and that was kind of like one story arc. And when that story arc finished, was totally not expecting it myself, but they brought in a new artist, who's Ferreira. I can't remember. I added him on Twitter, but I can't remember the name at this moment. Ferreira, that's totally backwards to you, I'm sure. Maybe I'll flip it, something. Ferreira. And I started looking at it, I was like, man, this is not digging this. I don't like what they're doing. But then he just comes in and slays it when the Spectre starts, like that right there. Sexy, just like beautiful, so sexy. And I was sold instantly on him. And So that was nice. Oh, another thing I like specifically about may have been Ferreira. I'm not sure who's the letterer on this. Lettering is something I like especially try to like keep an eye out for, especially in regards to like sound effects, because that's something that's so unique to comics, really. And even just, you know, like the pow and the bam and everything is like totally iconic of comic books specifically. I don't think there's another like medium that like communicates sound quite the same, you know, graphically the same way. But so the letter is Seda Tom Fonte. I don't know. But yeah. So looking out through that, but like where is it? Not just like the design of the words, but the sounds, like coming up with, a lot of the time it'll just be click, boom, bam. But you can see like right here, we got schloop, stomp, and just really transmits it. I don't know, the idea of the sound, the feeling, the coloring of the words, like slimy green and everything. So that was really cool. I like that a lot, and he just really sold me on it. I was very excited for that. But anyway, so the issue I picked this last week, I think it actually came out the week before last week. The 12th, I want to say. But I didn't buy comics the week before, because I bought clothes instead, and, you know, things happen. So I had to go back and buy it later. So for me, it came out this last week, and they brought in another guy, Deuce. Christian Deuce. Okay. So again, solid work. It's an annual, so they brought in a guest guy. I'm hoping to see Ferreira, come back this month. And but dude, it's a good story. It was Gentleman Ghost, who's not a character I was familiar with, but he's been around for a minute as well. I guess I just Googled it a minute ago. The first appearance was in The Flash. Straight up Wikipedia'd it. So, and there's a picture of him fighting Alan Scott. So, he's been around. He's seen some stuff. But it was good to have a individual story, because there's like huge story arc going on through the Gotham by Midnight thing. There was like the Templesmith story arc, and now there's like another story arc going on with when the new artist came on, which is good. It's a good way to go about switching up when you want to switch up the artist and everything. I don't know how long they're going to keep the new artist or what, but if they're going to switch up every 6 months or whatever. But it was good just to have an individual story, like, you know, it's an extra thick issue. Boop. And but still a solid, just like one arc, which I think is missing from a lot of comics. Something I miss a lot is just a one and done, you know. It's everything these days is this new story arc is Green Lantern's a perfect example of this. I was a huge Green Lantern fan, especially when the Jeff Johns, you know, kicked up and rebooted it. But Green Lantern was one of the first comics that I was buying when I was like 12, just from like the 25-cent bin at my comic book store, and I didn't know anything about it, just like the color green, so I bought it. And so that's when I started collecting it. And but you know, everything now, especially after Blackest Night, is this event, Green Lantern Corps is never going to be the same, and dude, I just want to see, you know, Hal Jordan being a space cop, just, you know, busting a couple criminals, go have a beer afterwards sort of deal. And it's not something that I'm seeing everything so intertwined and I don't know. It's awesome. So that's one thing I did like about, and it's an annual, so that's like tends to be the way I guess they do things with annuals. I've been told that it used to be more of like a big event sort of deal when you had an annual, but this one, just nice little complete story, boom. And I don't know, I appreciated that just as a reader to have a nice one confined little story. And I don't know, I guess that's all I got to say for now. And I'll try to see, and don't judge my room too much. I'm a little messy, but I don't have a lot of room, so my bed's not made.